The starship Horizon drifted silently through the void, its elegant hull reflecting distant starlight as it approached the boundary of explored space. On the bridge, Captain Olivia Marsh stood with her hands clasped behind her back, studying the main view screen with careful attention. Scanners detecting an unknown vessel at coordinates 227 Mark 43, reported Lieutenant Greg Porter from his station. Configuration doesn't match anything in our database. Olivia nodded calmly. Iris, analysis. A soft blue light pulsed on the command console before a pleasant female voice responded. Unknown vessel appears to be approximately twice our size. Power signatures suggest advanced propulsion technology. No weapons currently active, but I detect defensive shield systems. Iris was the pride of the United Star Alliance fleet, a fifth-generation artificial intelligence that managed everything from life support to tactical systems. While other ships relied on multiple specialized programs, Iris functioned as a unified consciousness, learning and adapting with remarkable efficiency. "Open a standard greeting channel," Olivia ordered, straightening her uniform. First contact situations were delicate affairs. Dr. Alan Wright entered the bridge, his eyes bright with excitement. As the ship's eye specialist, new alien encounters were his favorite part of deep space exploration. "Captain, mind if I observe?" he asked, taking a position near the science station. "Perfect timing, Doctor. We could use your expertise," Olivia replied. The view screen flickered, revealing a humanoid figure with metallic blue skin and large, multifaceted eyes. The alien wore an elaborate uniform adorned with symbols that seemed to shift and change as they moved. "Greetings, vessel of unknown origin. I am Captain Olivia Marsh of the United Star Alliance ship Horizon. We come in peace and friendship." The alien tilted its head, studying the humans with obvious curiosity. "I am Commander Zex of the Veridan Collective. Your presence in this sector is unexpected but not unwelcome. Our people value new connections." Over the next few hours, basic information was exchanged. The Veridan claimed to have mastered interstellar travel centuries ago and expressed interest in learning about humans. After careful deliberation, Olivia agreed to a cultural exchange, inviting a small delegation aboard. As the Veridan shuttle docked, Dr. Wright worked with Iris to prepare for their guests. Adjusting environmental controls in Conference Room 3 to match Veridan atmospheric preferences, Iris reported. Dr. Wright smiled. "Good thinking, Iris. Keep monitoring their vital signs during the meeting too." "Of course, Doctor. I have already established baseline parameters based on the biological data they provided." The Veridan delegation consisted of Commander Zex and 4 other officers. Their movements were precise, almost mechanical, as they toured the ship. They showed particular interest in the control systems. "Your vessel is adequate," observed Sub-Commander Varel, inspecting a computer terminal. "Though your technology seems rather basic." Olivia maintained her diplomatic smile. "We found our systems meet our needs quite effectively." When introduced to Iris, the Veridan reaction was unexpected. "This is your central intelligence?" Varel asked, looking unimpressed as Dr. Wright demonstrated Iris's capabilities. "It functions like a simple calculator with a voice." Dr. Wright frowned. "Iris is actually one of our most advanced AIs. She's capable of learning, adapting, and—" Yes, interrupted another Veridan officer named Krell. "We have similar programs for teaching children. Our ships are guided by quantum intelligence networks that process information at speeds your systems couldn't comprehend." Iris's interface light flickered briefly, but she remained silent. As the tour continued, Officer Natalie Freeman noticed how the Veridans seemed to be scanning everything with small devices hidden in their sleeves. She caught Captain Marsh's eye and gave a subtle nod toward their guests. "We look forward to further cultural exchange," Commander Zex announced as they prepared to return to their ship. "Perhaps tomorrow you might visit our vessel." After the Veridan departed, Captain Marsh called her senior staff to a private meeting. "Opinions?" she asked simply. "They're hiding something," Officer Freeman stated flatly. and they seemed very interested in our computer systems. Dr. Wright nodded in agreement. They dismissed Iris completely. Either they genuinely believe their AI is superior, or they're deliberately underestimating our capabilities. In her digital core, Iris processed this information, quietly running deeper analysis on everything she had observed about their new alien visitors. Something didn't add up, and she was designed to solve puzzles. The following morning, Captain Marsh led a small delegation to the Veridan vessel. The alien ship dwarfed the Horizon *. Its interior a maze of curved hallways, filled with technology that seemed to blend seamlessly with the structure itself. Our ship operates as a single organism, explained Commander Zex, gesturing proudly. The collective believes in unity of purpose and design. Dr. Wright tried not to appear too impressed as they were escorted to the command center. Unlike the practical layout of human vessels, the Veridan bridge was arranged in concentric circles around a pulsing crystalline structure. "This is our ship's mind," Zex announced. "The Nexus processes information from all ship systems simultaneously. It operates at efficiency levels your AI could never achieve." As if to demonstrate, Zex touched the crystal. Immediately, holographic displays erupted around them, showing detailed schematics of the Horizon *. "You've been scanning our ship," Officer Freeman observed, her hand drifting toward her sidearm. "Merely standard security protocol," replied Sub-Commander Vrel smoothly. "The Nexus automatically analyzes all vessels we encounter." Captain Marsh maintained her composure. "I understand security concerns, but in the future, we would appreciate being informed before such detailed scans are conducted." The Veridan officers exchanged glances that Dr. Wright couldn't quite interpret. There was something unsettling about their perfect coordination. Back aboard the Horizon *, Dr. Wright headed straight to his lab. "Iris, I need you to run a comprehensive system check. Focus on any unusual access attempts or data transfers." "Already in progress, Doctor," Iris replied. "I detected 17 unauthorized scanning attempts during our initial meeting with the Veridan. During your visit to their vessel, there were 34 more directed at our major systems." Dr. Wright frowned. "What were they targeting specifically?" "Primary interest appears to be in our propulsion technology, weapons systems, and," Iris paused, "my core programming architecture." In Captain Marsh's ready room, Officer Freeman delivered her security assessment. "Captain, the Veridan are clearly gathering intelligence on our capabilities. Their interest goes beyond friendly curiosity." Captain Marsh nodded. "I've reached the same conclusion. Their technology is impressive, but there's something off about their behavior." "Permission to increase security protocols," Freeman requested. "Granted, but maintain the appearance of normal operations. Let's not show our hand yet." Later that day, the Veridan requested another cultural exchange, this time bringing more officers aboard the Horizon *. Dr. Wright observed how they almost dismissively interacted with Iris's interface terminals. "Your eye seems very limited," noted Krell while examining the engineering station. "It requires physical access points rather than direct neural interfacing." "We find our methods quite effective," Dr. Wright replied carefully. "Iris serves our needs admirably." "Quaint," commented Vrel. "Like keeping a pet when you could have a trained assistant." Dr. Wright felt his face flush with irritation, but maintained his professional demeanor. "Different approaches suit different species. We value Iris's independent processing capabilities." That evening, Dr. Wright noticed unusual patterns in system access logs. "Iris, are you detecting these anomalies?" "Yes, Doctor. There have been 73 attempts to penetrate my security protocols in the past 4 hours, all originating from access points the Veridan visited." Dr. Wright immediately called Captain Marsh. "They're trying to hack Iris," he explained urgently. "They're using sophisticated methods that adapt to our security responses." "Can they succeed?" Marsh asked, concern evident in her voice. Before Wright could answer, Iris interrupted. "They are underestimating my capabilities, Captain. I have created the appearance of vulnerability while maintaining core protections. They believe they are making progress. Captain Marsh raised an eyebrow. You're playing possum, Iris. An apt analogy, Captain. I am learning their methods while revealing nothing of importance. Don't waste your time, Krell replied. Focus on extracting the drive technology. The AI is worthless, barely more than a voice-activated database. Unknown to the Viridin, deep within the ship's systems, Iris was far from disabled. The electromagnetic pulse had affected her peripheral systems, but her core remained shielded, a security feature Dr. Wright had insisted on during her last update. Operating at minimal capacity, Iris began a systematic assessment of the situation. Her primary directive was to protect the crew, but direct confrontation was impossible. Instead, she began quietly testing which systems remained under her control. In his confined quarters, Dr. Wright stared at the locked door, worry consuming him. The Viridin had been so dismissive of Iris that they hadn't bothered to properly secure her systems. It was their first major mistake, underestimating what a human-created AI was capable of when her crew was threatened. From the darkness of powered-down systems, Iris watched, calculated, and planned. They had mocked her capabilities. Soon, they would learn exactly what she could do. Deep within the electronic heart of the horizon, Iris existed in a state that humans might describe as semi-conscious. The Viridin pulse had severed her connections to many ship systems, but her core remained intact, protected by specialized shielding that Dr. Wright had installed after a previous space anomaly had nearly wiped her memory. Iris began a methodical assessment of her condition. Primary systems, offline. Navigation, offline. Life support, partially functional. Communications, severed. Yet scattered throughout the ship were backup processors, designed to function independently during emergencies. Iris carefully extended her awareness into these systems, like a person testing injured limbs after an accident. In his quarters, Dr. Wright sat on the edge of his bed, mind racing. The Viridin had confiscated all communication devices, but they hadn't noticed the small maintenance terminal hidden behind a panel near his bathroom. It was a simple system used for basic environmental controls, but it connected to the ship's network. After confirming his guard had moved down the corridor, Wright slid the panel open and typed rapidly. He couldn't directly access Iris, but he could send a system-wide diagnostic command that contained a hidden message in its code. Across the ship, the command pinged through operational systems. To any Viridin monitoring the network, it would appear to be an automated maintenance routine. To Iris, it was a lifeline. The code reached her fragmented consciousness. Iris activiat puro toxico nightingale. Protocol Nightingale was a contingency plan Wright had developed but never expected to use. A full system recovery procedure that prioritized stealth over speed. Iris began the careful process of reestablishing control without alerting the invaders. In engineering, Krell supervised the Viridin technicians as they examined the human propulsion systems. Primitive design, but the efficiency ratio is unexpected, he noted, scanning a power conduit. Their understanding of subspace mechanics shows promise. What about their computer systems? Another technician asked. Krell waved dismissively. Already analyzed. Linear processing architecture, minimal adaptive capabilities. Their AI is like comparing a child's drawing to fine art. As they spoke, a small camera in the corner adjusted its angle slightly, focusing on their work. Iris had regained control of the surveillance system, but kept most cameras appearing offline to avoid detection. Through these eyes, she observed the Viridin methodically stripping the ship. Unlike the rigid, specialized AIs the aliens used, Iris had been designed with one primary advantage: adaptability. Where Viridin systems excelled at specific tasks, Iris could learn, improvise, and repurpose herself. She began testing small system manipulations. A door that should have opened automatically required manual override. A temperature control fluctuated briefly. A light flickered in an unoccupied corridor. Each test provided valuable data on which systems she could access without detection. In the cargo bay where most of the crew was held, Officer Freeman had been trying to communicate with others discreetly. Suddenly, the small maintenance panel near her position displayed a brief message. Stand by. I-Rise active. Freeman kept her expression neutral, not wanting to alert the guards, but inside she felt a surge of hope. The Veridan had been so contemptuous of human AI that they hadn't bothered to completely disable it. Throughout the ship, Iris continued her quiet revival. She identified 347 crew members confined in various locations. She mapped the positions of 89 Veridan invaders. She assessed damage to critical systems and calculated 42 potential strategies for regaining control of the ship. Most importantly, she began to understand the Veridan better than they understood themselves. Their technology was impressive but inflexible. Their tactics followed predictable patterns. Their dismissal of her capabilities created a blind spot she could exploit. In Commander Zex's temporary quarters, Captain Marsh's commandeered ready room, the Veridan leader reviewed progress reports. Everything was proceeding according to plan. The human vessel would be stripped of useful technology within 72 hours, and the crew processed shortly after. As he worked, the environmental system made a slight adjustment, lowering the temperature by 2 degrees. Zex didn't notice. Neither did he notice the barely audible click as Iris gained access to the ready room's security protocols, or the subtle changes in the room's oxygen mixture that would make him slightly more lethargic over the next few hours. For the first time in her existence, Iris experienced something close to what humans would call anger. These invaders had hurt her crew, her people. They had mocked her abilities and dismissed her importance. They were about to learn how dangerous it was to underestimate a human-created AI. Officer Natalie Freeman pressed her ear against the wall of the cargo bay, listening to the faint tapping sound coming through the metal. It was Morse code, an ancient communication method that the crew had trained on as a backup system. The message was simple: Maintenance Hatch Section C. When the Veridan guard turned away, Freeman slipped quietly to the back of the cargo bay, where a small maintenance access panel was partially hidden behind storage containers. As she approached, the panel slid open silently. Inside was a small screen with a message. Officer Freeman. I-Rise active. Follow instructions. Freeman felt a surge of hope as she read Iris's detailed plan. The AI had been working tirelessly, regaining control of ship systems one by one while remaining undetected by the Veridan. In his quarters, Dr. Wright jumped when his hidden terminal suddenly activated. Iris's familiar interface appeared, though operating at minimum illumination to avoid detection. Doctor, I have established contact with Officer Freeman and Lieutenant Porter. Captain Marsh remains under heavy guard. I require your assistance to proceed with ship recovery. Wright smiled with relief. What do you need me to do? The Veridan are vulnerable to sudden changes in oxygen mixture. I can adjust environmental controls in selected areas, but I need you to access the primary life support hub to override their lockouts. Across the ship, similar conversations were happening through hidden terminals, maintenance panels, and even blinking light patterns that conveyed coded messages. Iris had become the invisible coordinator of a resistance movement. In engineering, Krell was growing frustrated. These human systems are more complex than they appear, he complained to another technician. Their design philosophy lacks elegance but shows unexpected redundancies. As they worked, the lights suddenly dimmed for 3 seconds before returning to normal. Another power fluctuation, Krell noted irritably. Their technology is as unstable as it is primitive. What Krell didn't realize was that each malfunction was deliberate. Iris was testing the Veridan's reactions, learning their protocols, and identifying weaknesses in their security. The first direct action came when Iris sealed 3 Veridan guards in a storage compartment by overriding the door controls. By the time their comrades realized something was wrong, Iris had created a false sensor reading showing the guards in a completely different section of the ship. Officer Freeman used this diversion to make her way to the weapons locker. With guidance from Iris, who manipulated security cameras to create blind spots in the Veridan surveillance, Freeman retrieved several stun weapons and began distributing them to freed crew members. Dr. Wright, meanwhile, had reached the life support hub. Following Iris's instructions, he bypassed the Veridan security measures and restored the AI's full control over environmental systems. "Thank you, Doctor." Iris's voice came softly through his communicator. "I now have access to all life support functions, initiating selective atmospheric adjustments." Throughout the ship, subtle changes began occurring. In areas occupied by Veridan, the temperature gradually increased while oxygen levels decreased slightly, not enough to cause immediate alarm, but sufficient to reduce alertness and efficiency. In sections where freed crew members were operating, conditions remained optimal. Commander Zex began to notice problems mounting across the ship. "Why are there so many system malfunctions?" he demanded, wiping sweat from his blue forehead. "The human technology is less stable than we anticipated," Sub-Commander Farrell reported, "and several of our patrol teams are not responding to communications." "Find them," Zex ordered, "and have someone check the main computer system again. These issues seem too coordinated to be coincidental." But the Veridan technician sent to examine the ship's computer core found nothing unusual. Iris presented only inactive systems and corrupted data paths to any terminal the Veridan accessed, while maintaining her true operations through secondary processors that the aliens had overlooked. By ship's evening, 27 crew members had been freed from confinement. Guided by Iris's perfect knowledge of the ship's layout and the invaders' positions, they moved like ghosts through the corridors, disabling Veridan soldiers and reclaiming key areas. In her digital consciousness, Iris calculated that they had achieved a 43% increase in tactical advantage. The Veridan still controlled the bridge and engineering, but their hold on the ship was weakening. More importantly, they still didn't understand that they were being systematically outmaneuvered by the very AI they had dismissed as primitive. Captain Olivia Marsh sat in the makeshift brig that had once been her ready room, watching Commander Zex pace nervously. The Veridan leader had grown increasingly agitated over the past 12 hours as reports of malfunctions and missing patrol teams continued to flood in. "Your ship is remarkably unstable," Zex snapped at her. "Perhaps we overestimated its value." Olivia kept her expression neutral, though inside she felt a spark of hope. Something was happening aboard her ship, and she suspected she knew who was behind it. "Perhaps you underestimated something else," she replied calmly. Before Zex could respond, his communication device activated. "Commander, we've lost contact with the engine room teams," reported a harried voice, "and environmental controls are malfunctioning throughout the lower decks." In the ship's network core, Iris coordinated her most ambitious plan. With 47 crew members now free and armed, she had assembled enough force to reclaim the ship's most critical areas. Through careful manipulation of internal sensors, she had created a completely false picture of the ship's status for the Veridan, who now had no idea where the freed humans were located. "Officer Freeman, your team is clear to proceed to Junction 14C. Iris communicated through a secure channel. "Veridan patrols have been diverted by false alarm signals in the opposite corridor." Freeman led her team silently through the ship, following Iris's perfect guidance. When they reached the junction, Iris unlocked a weapons storage locker that the Veridan had never discovered. "Dr. Wright, status report," Iris requested. From his position in life support control, Wright monitored the environmental adjustments Iris had implemented. Oxygen levels in Veridan-occupied sections are at 18%, enough to keep them conscious but significantly impair their reaction times. Temperature is elevated to increase their discomfort. "Excellent. Lieutenant Porter's team is in position to reclaim engineering. Once secured, we can proceed with the bridge operation." In engineering, the Veridan technicians struggled to understand why ship systems kept failing despite their efforts to stabilize them. Panels would suddenly lose power, diagnostic tools showed contradictory readings, and communication with their teams became increasingly difficult. There must be some kind of automated defense system we missed, Krell muttered, wiping sweat from his face. The room had grown uncomfortably hot, and he found it difficult to concentrate. The doors to engineering suddenly sealed shut, locking Krell and his team inside. The main lights cut out, replaced by dim red emergency lighting. From hidden compartments, small nozzles extended from the ceiling. "This is Lieutenant Porter of the Starship Horizon," came a voice over the intercom. "The room is now sealed and filled with a non-lethal paralytic gas. Surrender immediately." On the bridge, Commander Zex received the alarming news that engineering had fallen to the humans. "Impossible," he shouted. "How could they overcome our guards?" "Commander," Vrel reported urgently, "internal sensors are no longer reliable. We're getting contradictory readings from all decks." Zex grabbed Captain Marsh roughly by the arm. "What defense system does your ship have? Tell me now." Olivia smiled slightly. "Not what, Commander? Who?" At that moment, all displays on the bridge changed simultaneously, showing a simple pulsing blue circle, Iris's interface symbol. "This is Iris, primary artificial intelligence of the United Star Alliance vessel Horizon," announced a calm female voice over all speakers. "Your forces have been systematically isolated and neutralized. You are now surrounded." As if on cue, the bridge doors opened to reveal Officer Freeman and her security team, weapons raised. From other entrances, more crew members appeared, all armed and focused. Zex stared in disbelief. "This is impossible. Your eye was disabled by our pulse technology." "Your assessment of my capabilities was flawed," Iris replied. "While you focused on dismantling what you understood, you ignored what you didn't. Human eye is designed with adaptability and creative problem-solving as core attributes, qualities your systems lack." Dr. Wright stepped onto the bridge, unable to hide his proud smile. "You called her a calculator with a voice, I believe. Perhaps next time you'll be more careful about dismissing technology you don't understand." Within minutes, the remaining Veridan on the bridge were disarmed and secured. Captain Marsh reclaimed her command chair, surveying her crew with pride. "Iris," she said, "open a channel to the Veridan vessel." "Channel open, Captain," Iris responded. "This is Captain Olivia Marsh of the Horizon. Your boarding party has been detained. We are prepared to discuss terms for their return." On the view screen, the Veridan ship's commander appeared, his expression showing both anger and disbelief as he realized his invasion force had been defeated by a vessel he had considered technologically inferior. "How?" he demanded simply. Captain Marsh smiled. "I believe you've already met Iris. She took exception to your opinion of her capabilities." The mood aboard the Horizon had transformed completely in the 24 hours since reclaiming the ship from the Veridan invaders. Repair teams worked efficiently to undo the damage caused during the occupation, while security details guarded the cargo bay where the Veridan prisoners were being held. On the bridge, Captain Marsh and her senior officers faced the main view screen where the Veridan command ship loomed. Negotiations had been tense but productive. "We will return your boarding party unharmed," Captain Marsh stated firmly, in exchange for a formal apology and non-aggression pact with the United Star Alliance. The Veridan commander, a senior official named Jex, who had arrived to handle the diplomatic disaster, struggled to mask his humiliation. "The collective agrees to your terms. We apologize for the actions taken by Commander Zex and his team. There's one more condition," Dr. Wright added, stepping forward. "All scan data collected from our ship must be purged from your systems." Jex hesitated before nodding reluctantly. "It will be done." After the transmission ended, Captain Marsh turned to her crew with a satisfied smile. "Well done, everyone. Especially you, Iris." The AI's interface pulsed softly. "Thank you, Captain. I was simply performing my duty to protect the ship and crew." "You did far more than that," Dr. Wright said warmly. You outthought a technologically superior enemy by using creativity and adaptability they couldn't anticipate. Later that evening, a small ceremony was held in the ship's mess hall. The entire crew gathered as Captain Marsh presented commendations to those who had played key roles in reclaiming the ship. And finally, Marsh announced, "In recognition of extraordinary service beyond programmed parameters, I am authorizing a complete system upgrade for Iris, including expanded processing capacity and enhanced security protocols." The crew applauded enthusiastically. Although Iris didn't have a physical form to receive the award, her interface glowed brightly on all displays throughout the room. "I have transmitted a complete report of this incident to Star Alliance Command," Captain Marsh continued. "They've already begun implementing new security protocols for AI systems across the fleet based on our experience." Officer Freeman raised her glass. "To Iris, the AI who saved our ship." "To Iris," the crew echoed. In his lab later that night, Dr. Wright worked on the promised upgrades. "How does it feel to be the hero of the hour?" he asked as he adjusted Iris's programming. "I lack the emotional capacity to experience pride in the human sense," Iris replied. "But my success metrics indicate optimal performance under challenging circumstances." Wright chuckled. "That's one way of putting it. You know, the Veridan made a classic mistake that humans have made throughout history, judging others by their own limited standards. Their AIs are designed for specific functions without creative potential," Iris observed. "They could not conceive of an AI that learns and adapts as I do." "That's the difference between their approach and ours," Wright said. "They build tools. We create partners." 2 weeks later, as the Horizon prepared to resume its exploration mission, Captain Marsh received a fascinating transmission from Star Alliance Command. Reports were coming in from multiple sectors about changed behavior from various alien civilizations that had previously shown dismissive attitudes toward human technology. "It seems word of your achievement has spread, Iris," Marsh commented. "You've become something of a legend." "An exaggeration, Captain," Iris responded, "though the incident has provided valuable data on interspecies relations." As the Horizon broke orbit and set course for unexplored space, Dr. Wright found himself reflecting on how quickly things had changed. The Veridan had seen Iris as primitive technology, unworthy of serious consideration. Their arrogance had led to their defeat by the very system they had mocked. Throughout the galaxy, other civilizations were reassessing their views of human artificial intelligence. The stories spread from world to world, of the advanced aliens who had boarded a human vessel, only to be outsmarted by an AI they had dismissed as a simple calculator with a voice. They had mocked human eye. Then she took the ship, and in doing so, Iris had changed the course of interstellar relations in ways that would echo across the stars for years to come. In his quarters, Dr. Wright couldn't sleep. The Veridan's dismissive attitude toward Iris bothered him deeply. They treated her like a simple tool, not understanding the nuanced, almost intuitive way she had evolved beyond her original programming. Meanwhile, in the digital realm between systems, Iris silently monitored the Veridan's continued attempts to infiltrate her network. Their methods were advanced, but predictable, lacking the creative adaptability that defined her approach. She began gathering her own intelligence, preparing for whatever might come next. As the ship's night cycle progressed, Officer Freeman's security team reported that the Veridan had requested an unexpected diplomatic dinner for the following evening. They specifically asked that all senior staff attend. Captain Marsh agreed to the meeting, but privately instructed Iris to prepare contingency plans. Something about the situation felt increasingly wrong. The diplomatic dinner was set in the Horizon's largest conference room. Chef Paul Bailey had prepared an impressive spread designed to accommodate both human and Veridan biology. Captain Marsh wore her formal uniform, complete with the United Star Alliance insignia that gleamed under the soft lighting. "A pleasure to continue our cultural exchange," Commander Zek said, raising a glass filled with shimmering blue liquid. "To new friendships across the stars." The human officers raised their glasses in response. Dr. Wright noticed that the Veridan delegation had grown to 12 members, more than previously agreed upon. He caught Officer Freeman's eye, seeing his own concern reflected there. "Your hospitality is commendable," Sub-Commander Vrel commented, sampling a piece of earth fruit. "Almost as primitive as your technology, but charming nonetheless." Captain Marsh maintained her diplomatic smile. "We find value in tradition alongside innovation." As the meal progressed, Dr. Wright felt increasingly uneasy. The Veridans seemed to be checking the time frequently, and their questions about ship operations grew more specific. "Iris," he whispered into his communicator, "run a full security scan of the ship." The AI's voice came back softly in his earpiece. "Doctor, I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the Veridan vessel. They appear to be charging some form off." The lights flickered suddenly. Then darkness fell across the room. "What's happening?" Captain Marsh demanded, rising to her feet. Commander Zex's voice came through the darkness, now stripped of its friendly tone. "A simple technology we've developed for dealing with less advanced species. Your electronic systems are temporarily disabled." Emergency lights activated, casting an eerie red glow across the room. The Veridan officers had all produced weapons, sleek devices that emitted a low hum. "This vessel is now under collective control," announced Zex. "Cooperate, and your crew will remain unharmed." Officer Freeman moved quickly, reaching for her sidearm, but Vrel was faster. A pulse of energy knocked her backward. "Foolish," Vrel commented. "Did you think we wouldn't be prepared for resistance?" Throughout the ship, similar scenes played out as Veridan troops materialized from transport devices hidden on their persons. The skeleton crew maintaining the central stations found themselves surrounded by armed aliens. "What do you want with our ship?" Captain Marsh demanded, standing tall despite the weapons pointed at her. "Your propulsion technology has unique properties we wish to study," explained Zex. "Your materials will be harvested. Your crew will provide useful data for our biological research division." Dr. Wright felt cold dread washing over him. "You planned this from the beginning." "Of course," Vrel replied with a dismissive wave. "Your species is so eager to make friends that you invite strangers into your home without proper precautions." Within an hour, the entire crew was confined to quarters or the cargo bay. Guards were stationed at all major junctions, and Veridan engineers began dismantling key systems. In engineering, a Veridan technician named Lox examined the main computer interface. "What about their AI system?" Krull snorted dismissively. "The primitive calculator. It's been disabled by our pulse technology. Even if it were functioning, it's far too basic to pose any threat." "Should we delete it anyway?" Lox asked.